what's going on? I'm your boy Jay Rana. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Jay Rana Show. Today, I have the pleasure and privilege of introducing to you Avish, the singing doctor. Avish, what's going on, bro?
Hey, how's it going, Jay?
Everything's going fantastic.
Thank you for having me on this podcast. I'm so excited.
Thank you for joining me, bro. This is great for everybody. Like, this is fantastic. Is this your first podcast?
Yes, this actually is my first podcast and my first conversation in a very long time about anything that I do. So I'm very, very excited.
Your first conversation about anything that you do?
Yes, in this sort of formalized setting.
Okay.
Not in passing, the way everybody else, just kind of asks me and then just keeps going.
So I'm assuming you do a lot of things.
Yes, I do. I'm a very busy guy.
You got to be busy, right?
I'm a very busy guy, yes.
I'm glad you took out some time in your busy schedule to come all the way up here because you're out of Philly, right? Is that what you said?
Yes. I live in Philly. I work in Philly, so yes.
And you came all the way to Springfield, New Jersey just to jump on my show.
Yes.
I appreciate that, bro. Much love.
Yes. At the moment you messaged me, I was like, I have to. I'm very excited. I want to see what this is about.
I appreciate that. Yeah, man. We try to make sure that we talk about the events industry and like the impact that we have on the wedding industry because it's a huge industry, bro. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is. And there's not really a podcast or a space to talk about the vendors behind the scenes and what the vendors go through and how they work together and have some type of synergy to perform on the day of an event.
Oh, absolutely. I think in the last 3 or 4 years, especially ever since I've been getting a lot more wedding gigs and kind of working with different couples and different families on trying to kind of manage and make my way into their events and stuff like that, it's been very, very difficult to solidify, I think, the process and making sure everybody's really happy with the outcome. And, that's just one step of it. And I'm sure you know that. So.
That's just one step of it is to make sure that they're happy. But there's so much more that goes into it, man. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure when a client reaches out to you, let me ask you a question. How will the client actually come to you first and foremost?
Oftentimes it's as simple as a direct message on Instagram. It's as simple as an email. Or through a text through someone else's contact. Yeah. It's honestly, that's just how they reach out to me. And then I reply back within a couple of days at most. Yeah. And, I look at my calendar because most of the times they'll say, hey, this is when our wedding is being planned for this specific weekend. Are you free? That's usually the first question. And then I look at my calendar because
How often are you free?
See, the thing is a lot of my schedule, at least right now in this time and day, is dictated by my work. Yeah. Because that calendar is set in stone every year in June for the entire 1 year, from June to June.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I did not know that.
Yeah. So it's like the academic year for residency. They plan out your entire calendar. They tell you what weekends you're free. They tell you when your vacation weeks are for the whole year out. So if a client messages me in May and asks me for a date in July, I can't tell them until June.
Oh, okay. Have you lost a lot of gigs that way?
I maybe one or two, not too much. Oftentimes I try to work around and I try to ask work like, hey, do you think I'm working? Do you think I'm not? Or oftentimes I just tell the client like, look, hey, this is my situation. Yes, I'm
a famous singer. I need time off to sing. God damn it.
They know I sing. Okay. And I think because they follow my social media, they have started to understand what exactly it is I do and what my following is and all the work that I've done in the music industry, in the music space since I've been a kid. I think they've come to learn that in the last couple of years of working there.
Were you reluctant on adding your colleagues on your IG page?
Yes. Okay. Yes, definitely.
I was too, that's why, because I used to do a lot of other things and I didn't want them to see that, okay, I'm also a DJ. I'm also a wedding planner because I don't want them to ask me questions.
I've been singing since I was probably 3 or 4 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
27.
Okay, very cool.
27. Music runs in my mom's side of the family.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So my mom sang, her brother sang, so my uncle, and then my grandparents sang as well.
Wow, it goes down that far.
Yeah, my nanny was a she got her degree in music in India, and then my nana was a Qawwali singer, played the violin.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my nanny played the harmonium. You know, she started teaching
He
also when
was
she
born
came
into this.
here. Yeah, and then my mom and my uncle sang, and then my mom made it a point that music was a part of mine and my sister's life as well. So
Okay, so then as a singer,
yeah,
like that was your first passion, I want to say, right?
yes.
So what led you to go down the road of science?
Um, I think what led me down the road of science was that I needed to do more. I wanted to do
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
I still have that sort of thing inside me where I want to do everything. Um, I
Ambition is always a good thing. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I think I've always been very, very ambitious.
okay,
Ambition can be overwhelming,
sure.
but
It's a drug.
yes, yes. But I think that I was really into school. I was very into academics as well. And since I think in high school, I kind of realized that I needed both.
Okay.
One could not be fueled without the other. One was very, very to the point, cerebral, intellectual,
More structure.
structure,
Yeah.
and then the other one was more functional, more creative,
Mhm.
more elaborative. Um, Also cerebral, but I think just very, very, very artistic and very open-minded,
That's cool.
and it fed every part of my personality that I needed it to.
Gotcha. So that's two parts of your personality.
Yeah.
Is there a third coming up? Like, do you feel like you want to do a little bit more?
I think right now I'm pretty
You're
good with.
content where you are?
I'm content where I am. I still do have ambition to do more.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was, well, I mean, as a kid, I was a dancer as well. I trained in Kathak for 5-6 years. I did Bollywood dancing, and then in college, I was on a fusion dance team.
Nice.
I was all Bhangra, Bollywood, and I was on that for 4 or 5 years.
Impressive.
I used to be a radio jockey on EBC Radio here in Edison.
So this is not your first time behind a mic.
No, no. That's why I said it was a very long time that I've
Yeah.
been in front of this sort of situation. But I used to be a radio jockey. I was actually EBC Radio's first child RJ
Oh, what's up? Nice.
when I was 6 years old. So I did that from age 6 to age 8. And then I
Okay.
went back in high school, did it from like 14 to 17, something like that. And then I used to do some like little TV snippets here and there for TV Asia in high
Nice.
school as well. So I've dabbled in quite a lot.
I can see that.
But I think right now I'm very content with my full-time 2 professions.
That's what's up, man. Congratulations on all your success. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
there's so much more to come. You mentioned something about working as behind the scenes at ABC.
Yes, that was a venture I took on just about a little over 8 months ago now.
How was that?
Incredible. It was actually an opportunity I got through my residency, and
Nice.
then I started working basically with ABC News as a medical journalist, as a sort of resident doctor working for them, doing research and reporting, and then sort of building scripts and pitches for
Nice.
the producers of Good Morning America and ABC News. And if it got approved, then we'd get to help and assist with some of the script writing and editing, and then see that segment air.
I think we were in the studio at the same time.
Yes, we were. We
I
were.
think-
I remember you messaging me.
I was in that studio too.
Yes,
I
it was
was
that
on the
same
cha-
month I had just started.
Yeah. That
And I was like,
wild, right?
wow, you're here too. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was there on the Chairman Hall show.
Yes.
That was a good experience on my end. That was the first time on national TV.
I think that being in that studio was just a whole different ball game. I was so excited to be there. I was like a little
Yeah, I thought
squirrel.
it was gonna be like one particular place, but the studio is huge.
massive.
They took me to this one particular room. We went down the back rows, the warehouse area where there were building stages.
Mhm.
Went upstairs. They took my COVID test. They brought me back downstairs to the
Yes.
other studio, the live studio, and they mic'd me up. And I was just like, "This is really happening. This is really happening," and it was really happening.
It was really happening. I remember walking up when I got told that, oh, like one of your segments got approved to be on Good Morning America. You can go on Friday morning and watch them tape it. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
That's
like
huge,
all
right?
that's
Because,
huge.
like-
That's all my research,
Yeah.
all the reporting. That was my pitch. that I had to work on to get it approved and by producers of GMA.
Is it competitive though? Like, are you the only person as an advisor, or are there more people like
There's
yourself?
more people. I think every month they kind of rotate between a bunch of different doctors, whoever
Okay.
can come into New York City and stay there for a while.
Okay.
So at the time there was only 4 of us, kind of just go running through different stories and seeing what is newsworthy at the time. And I'm not there right now, but I can still work remotely for them and find stories and do pitches. So I try to find time here and there to do that for them.
Okay.
I will be going back in October again, in person, but right now I'm working remotely and just seeing what can be pitched and what can't.
That's what's up, man. There's
Yeah.
a lot of behind the scenes. So from doing weddings, we met at a birthday party.
Yes, it was a birthday party.
That was 2 years ago. It was one of your friends who hired you.
Yes.
You met her at college. I want to say, I forget her name. Don't mention her name on the podcast, but I forget her name.
Yeah.
If you probably remember, you do.
I do.
It was for her parents' anniversary party.
Yes. Her
Right?
Parents.
It was in
anniversary
PA.
party. Yes.
It was in PA. So, and that's where I first met you.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's a singer here. Oh, well, I didn't know about the singer at all, because usually I would know. Like,
Right.
Jay, we have a singer. He's going to need this, and that. And I would talk to the singer, like, what kind of reverb do you want? What type of echo, flanger effects,
Yeah.
everything across the board.
And I'm going to stop you right there because I appreciate that you know that we need all that stuff.
Of course.
Because let me tell you, I've worked with a lot of DJs at similar events and they have no idea what I need.
That's
They
unfortunate.
they have no idea. I show up on the day of and they're like, oh, you need a wireless mic? And I'm like, yes. How else am I going to walk around and sing and entertain? Like,
Yeah.
also, why don't you already have that in general? Like that seems like a very basic thing to have. So yes, I appreciate that you are. I mean, you've been in the business for way too long.
I've been in it,
But-
I've been in it for a minute.
Yeah.
I worked with my fair share of singers who actually taught me these things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like I knew it from day one, because you don't, right?
Right.
You just know, listen, there's gonna be a singer, and you learn.
Yeah.
And I learned over the course of my career what reverb was, and the right mixer, and the right echo and flanger effects, and all these different things, and what a singer really needs, and like all that good stuff. You were also on stage at a big show.
Yes. I've been doing stage shows also since I was 5.
Really?
My mom, my biggest supporter. I'm sure everyone.
Our moms are always the best.
Moms are always everyone's biggest
Yeah.
support.
My mom's my biggest supporter
My
too.
cheerleader. I actually make fun of her now, and I call her my Kris Jenner now, all the
like
time
that.
because she's more my manager than my mom
Yeah.
right now. But she pushed me to be on stage ever since I was 5, and so I think because of that, I do not face any sense of stage fright at all. I can go anywhere, hold a mic, and speak and sing anytime.
That's what's
But
up.
to go back to your original question, I was very humbled to have like kind of a string of events and stage shows in the last 6 months. I got to open for Atif Aslam,
I was gonna say that.
open for Shreya Ghoshal,
Yeah.
and open for Javed Ali.
Those are goals for a lot of singers, bro, and you're just
It
knocking it out
was-
the park.
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps like thinking about it. Actually, just
bet.
saying it out loud, like just like
You open for these mega superstars.
it was great. Like wow, I'm like literally like getting goosebumps just thinking about it all over again.
Round of applause for you, people.
like
That's
it
great.
it was surreal. It is surreal. I still think about it and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah,
Each one was a very different experience.
I bet. I bet.
I think my favorite and my best one was probably opening for Atif.
Yeah.
It was so just chaotic, running behind the scenes. I was actually working, backtrack. That was, I think, Saturday the 13th was the show.
Okay.
Friday, I was working an 18-hour shift in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday morning, I had committed to another gig months before at the restaurant. And then from there, I drove and 2 hours to the Atif Aslam Hall in Jersey an hour before the show was supposed to start. And because I was opening and there was a lot of like kind of delays from his team, I didn't get sound check.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I didn't have sound check.
Were you nervous?
I was so stressed. I showed up backstage. I was just trying to find the person in charge to tell me where to be, where to go, what to do. And she helped me with all that. And she told me, give your music, if you have music, to the engineer over there, talk to him, figure out your settings. And that's what I did. And he was saying, okay, we'll try to do this. We'll try to do that.
We'll try to do this.
And I was like, what do you mean we'll try? And the thing is, I couldn't even tell them before or ahead of time, all these things, reverb, lighting, cues, when music.
I'm sure you had a whole show in your head when you thought about it.
I mean, so the opening was only a 10-minute slot.
Yeah.
And I love maximizing time, 10 minutes. I think a lot of people just think, oh, 2 5-minute songs, cool. But no, I'm given this large platform. I'm given this large opportunity. How can I showcase everything that I can do in those 10 minutes to a brand new audience and
to make an impact.
Huge audience? That audience was, I don't even know, like 5,000, 7,000 people in that auditorium. Like, it was crazy. And that was just his New Jersey show. It wasn't like a combined New Jersey, New York, or whatever.
And that's just in person. Like, you also think
in person,
about the cameras and the broadcast. Millions.
Exactly. And then, you had projectors and all the screens and so many eyes on you, and you're the first person that they're going to hear.
Yeah.
Everyone's here for Atif, but they're going to hear you first. It's a lot of pressure. You don't know.
Do you remember your first song that you sang?
Yes.
Was it an Atif song?
No. They specifically told me not to sing Atif songs.
Okay.
Which made sense. So all the shows that
what if you sang it better than him?
I don't know, but I mean, no.
At least you didn't
I
say,
wouldn't be able to sing his.
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to sing his songs better than him. I mean, he's the original voice. He's the one that gave it life. Yeah. I'm just emulating. But
sometimes there's a lot of covers out there that sound better than actual artists.
Sure. I still think it's a sign of respect
100%.
to not, it's
so what
his
was
concept.
your first song then?
So my first song that I actually sang was Sun Raha Hai Na Tu from Ashiki 2. It was the opening, and it was actually momentous for me to sing that song and I chose that song purposely for that gig to start with, because 10 years prior to that concert, I had sung Sun Raha Hai Na Tu when it had first come out on stage, and that was my first large stage performance post high school. It was in college, and that was also some thousand number of people, all brand new, had no idea who they were, and the response I got from that was incredible. And that song, and people had remembered me singing that song from all over. Like, it was one of those
Can you bless us with a snippet real quick?
Yeah, okay. Let me try.
I want to put you on the spot, but fuck it, why not?
All right. Manzile ruswa hai, khoya hai rasta, aaye le jaye itni si iltija, ये मेरी ज़मानत है, तू मेरी अमानत है, हाँ मुझको इरादे दे, कसमें दे, वादे दे, मेरी दुआओं के इशारों को सारे दे, दिल को ठिकाने दे, नए बहाने दे, ख्वाबों की बारिशों को मौसम के पैमाने दे, अपने करम की करदाए कर दे, इधर भी तूने गाए, सुन रहा है ना तू.
Bro, stop it. Wow is the only word I got for you, dude. Very talented. You got me all emotional and in my feelings.
Thank you.
You did. I tried to not go down that road in my own heart, but then you continued. I'm like, oh Man.
It's a very emotional song. It means a lot to me. Thank you. It means a lot to me. And it was a song, it just came out that year.
Yeah.
But then what it did for me was it changed everyone's views on like how I sing and who I am and what I can do. And I got so many more invites to sing on stage after that. And they were huge events.
Is it because it's such an emotional song?
I don't. Maybe it was an emotional song. Maybe it was a song everybody knew and loved at the time.
And your
but
range
I think
also, right?
Huh?
And your range also.
Yes. I think now I'm at a point where I can say that I have a very large range.
Okay.
I can go low. I can sing high, and that song showcased my range. So it was just such a perfect song. And the way I think about it now was not how I thought about it back then. Back then I was just like, oh, great song, favorite song right now. Let me just sing this right now.
Okay.
And it has like that long intro note in the beginning that you hold out, and and so I was so happy to sing it again after 10 years.
Yeah.
I had not sung it on stage after that time. And I wanted to bring it back and sing it for this concert because it just felt like such a full circle moment where I had progressed so much in 10 years to the point where I'm opening up for Atif Aslam. And so it was kind of like an ode to my inner self that I'm singing this song again.
Absolutely, man. Good job. Congratulations on all your success. That's just fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of singers, right? And honestly, they sound different when they're singing flat versus on a mic when there's a lot of engineering behind it, right? So when I put you on a spot, I clearly put you on a spot right now.
You did. I did not know when I was coming.
Yeah, I clearly put you on the spot. I'm like, you want to sing a snippet? And you killed it. No engineering whatsoever. Yeah. Kudos to you. You're a very talented person, bro.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
It means a lot. Thank you, man.
Going into singing and performing on stage and like, I'm sure you have stories for days, right?
I have so many stories. I think about one day writing a book, genuinely, because I just have so many stories. And
get a ghostwriter.
Somebody, if you're out there and you're listening to this, like, please, I want to write this. This is a new venture in my head where one day, I genuinely want to sit and write a book about every little story because, people think that going up on stage is so easy, but they don't realize that all the background work and the feelings and the emotions and the other people around and the technical aspects is all a story itself. And it's all different from the previous stage performance or the next stage performance. It's different than when you're shooting for a music video. That alone has like 100 different stories.
Yeah.
Just the process of becoming a singer and training, that is its own story.
How was your own training though? Like it was all like you said that you already caught the music bug. It was built into your family, right?
Yeah.
And then like every day, I'm sure there was some type of training coming home from school. You're singing with your mom. You're singing with your nanny.
Yeah. Well, it was this. I guess this is where the story comes in. Yes, it runs my mom's side of the family. I was so passionate about it that I did not want to give it up. But the training period was very hard.
Everything worthwhile is hard, right?
Yeah. My mom really pushed and advocated for me to sing. I kind of started the preface by saying just like, they appreciate it now, but at the time, my dad and dad's side of the family were very against music.
Sure.
They didn't like the fact that I was singing or dancing or spending so much time on it.
How have you dealt with it?
I'm
sure it took a toll.
It did, very much so. It was very, very, very difficult, to know that like half your side of your family is very disapproving of something that you love so much.
Yeah.
And the other side is pushing you towards it. But I think the power balance is also a little hard because we live in such a patriarchal society. So it was always dad's side of the family and, what dad wanted. But I think this is where my mom, was my biggest advocate, and she always pushed for me. And I was so adamant as a kid about it too.
Yeah.
I loved doing it so much that, no force could stop me. And I pushed through. I went to all those stage performances. Would I come back and
without support, like without 100% support?
Without 100% support, there'd be so many times where I'd miss my dad, as any kid would. Especially when I just killed a stage performance. It was a big event for me.
Yeah.
I remember I performed in the middle of Times Square, at the Valley Times Square when it had first come out. I think it was like the first of its kind, and so I got invited to perform, and that was such a huge thing. You're in the middle of Times Square. I look back at that video, and you're like in the middle of Manhattan.
Who can say that?
Like
you can.
12,000 people in that video that my mom captured of just staring at the stage, and I'm the sole singular person up on that platform singing for 15 minutes. And oh my God, that was such an incredible opportunity. But
how did you feel being there? All these eyes are on you, and just you.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I wasn't scared one bit, because stage fright, it just isn't a thing. I don't feel it anymore. I'm afraid of everything else.
Not so many people can say that, bro. Good job.
I'm afraid of a lot of other things, but not that. I'm not going on stage and performing, because I know I'm good at it. And if I mess up, I know how to cover it. And that's if I mess up. I
like that.
The music and singing and that being on stage and performing is something I know I have under my power, and I can control it, and I'm good at it, and I'm not afraid. And,
that's what's up.
And if I feel like something's wrong, I will figure it out and fix it immediately within 10 seconds.
That's what's up. As a professional, you should, right?
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
And that goes for any job. Being up on that stage, I just kept singing and singing and singing and trying to get everybody hype. And I saw whoever was in the front was dancing and screaming, and it was just such a fun time.
And you feed off the energy right off the bat.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My favorite part of singing is feeding off of that energy, feeding off of people's energy. I do that every weekend right now at brunch, and it's like 300, 400 people, and it's just me on stage. And if I'm just feeding off of people's energy, if I know that they're liking something, I'm going to give them more of that. I'm going to go in the middle of them, take my mic, and start dancing and singing with them. Being a part of them, being a part of that crowd, and being a part of that stage experience, and making them feel like they're part of the whole thing.
Gotcha. You mentioned brunch. What are you saying?
I'm at for the last 3 years, I've been doing on Saturdays Bar NYC's Bollywood Brunch.
Nice.
So I've been there since 2020.
Okay.
And then COVID happened, and then I went back when it opened up again.
Okay. So Bar, if you're listening, sponsorship opportunities.
Bar was another huge opportunity, and I thank that team every day because they're such a huge second family up in New York.
Nice. So you travel, right? You live in Philly, so you're up on a turnpike or every day, you said?
Every day. If it's not for on the weekends gigs, sometimes there'll be evening gigs. Sometimes there'll be things like this, and I'll drive because I love it. I don't want to miss out on anything if I know I can't, just because I'm driving.
Exactly. All these opportunities are right in front of you. You have to take it.
Yeah. And 2 hours max, or people say 2 hours of driving is so much. And I'm like, it's really not. And in those 2 hours of driving, you can still get things done.
Yeah.
I call my family, I call my friends, I listen to music. It's my alone and me time to think and reflect. And then I go about and carry my business out.
I love driving myself. Every time I do gigs out of state, I prefer driving.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I just, we wrapped an event in Atlanta, right?
Uh-huh.
I set my team down. They flew in. I drove in. Because I like my alone time.
Yeah.
I like my alone time. I'm thinking. I have my own thoughts to myself. The windows are open. The music is on.
Yeah.
And it's the best feeling because I get into my own creative zone at that point.
What do you listen to?
A lot of different things. I'm a big hip hop fan myself.
Okay.
I'm an 80s baby.
Yeah.
I like all the 90s stuff, but I'm a big hip hop head.
Sure.
Just the way I am. It goes into my whole mindset as an entrepreneur, about the hustle, about the grind, about being nitty and gritty with it, right? Mm-hmm. That's just me. Mm-hmm. I do have a Bollywood flair, right? Yeah. I love Amitabh Bachchan.
Yeah.
Juma, all that, all day. One of my first movies I've seen was Hum, right? The movie
Yeah.
Hum.
Yeah.
And and the reason I remember it is because I saw it with my parents.
Uh-huh.
It was me, my mom and dad, and my sisters. The six of us. I got three little sisters.
Oh, wow.
I'm the eldest. The
Okay.
six of us sitting in front of our TV with the big back, right? We just moved to Piscataway at this point. There's no furniture. All we had was the old TV from the apartment, and we played Hum.
Amazing.
And
Such a formative experience.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't share that for the world. Like I wouldn't, like, you know, how do you deal with that? Because I dealt with it too. And I'm sure as a vendor in the wedding industry itself, we always deal with some family, some friends saying, "This is not going to pay off. Why are you wasting your time?"
Yeah.
Like all these negative remarks. You
Yeah.
got to deal with it. I mean, we deal with it all the time. You
Right.
know, I know a lot of my colleagues, my ex-colleagues, who actually they were fantastic at what they were doing, but didn't have the support from their friends and their family, that they quit and they went the route that they didn't want to go down, grabbing that 9 to 5, and now they're miserable. And I talked to them, you know, like, have you ever missed it? Like, yo, we miss it all the time.
Right.
So why'd you like leave? Well, we left because of I was told this and I was told that. Right. So there's always some type of regret. And the ones that are still in it, I'm in it. I've been in it for a long time. I'm going to continue to be in it because I constantly reinvent myself, because you got to be relevant. Like, there's different ways. This podcast is huge for that. Being in the South Asian industry, you know, especially in the wedding industry. Like, how do you deal with that?
It is very, very difficult. You know, there are a lot of days where I cried, I screamed, I shouted. A lot of times where I had to give in. I had to give up. It was hard. Because we're human, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't sit here and say that I was Superman all those times.
Yeah.
And same with my mom. I can't say she was, she was, yes, 100% my advocate, but, she's also a mom. She's also human. And there were days where we were just like, okay, we'll just give up this one gig, if it's going to make everybody happy and not have a fight in the house one day.
That's unfortunate.
And it was a lot of stuff, extended family would also feed in from that, uncles, aunts, just,
do you think they fed into it because of your reaction? Like, if you didn't react a certain way, do you think they would have fed into it or not?
No, I think they just were, and maybe this is me now reflecting back on it. I think that they are all just part of such a different generation that they do not grasp the concept that somebody can do something else. That you don't need to just do one thing. That in order to do medicine, you don't just have to sit locked in your room and study. You do not have to be in front of a book. You don't, need to be studying all the time. And that was the life that they all led. They were all my uncles and aunts are older than my dad. My dad was the youngest. And, him and my mom are also, age-wise, maybe 4 years apart, but very generationally and culturally different. They're from 2 different states in India. And so, just their upbringing and everything was so different, right? Where one family is all music related and the other family is very, very academically instituted. And also, not to say that my mom's side isn't. My grandfather is an ophthalmologist, and he was the first one to get a PhD in ophthalmology in India.
Nice.
And so it just reflects that it's just how someone's upbringing was and how their perception and thoughts are. And that's me reflecting now that, I think maybe this is just me cutting them some slack now at this point, because I don't...
Do you want to cut them some slack?
I think it's the only way that I can make peace with it. Okay. Because I won't be able to move forward or be content with my own life right now if I don't make peace with that past.
Okay.
Right? Like, that was there. It happened. It was there for a very, very long time.
So it was a big part of your life.
It was a big part of my life.
It made a big impact.
It had a huge impact in my life. And the thing is, it wasn't even just my dad and his side of the family. And also, I want to say that my dad is very supportive now.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with him where I was like, why weren't you supportive back then when I needed the support through the journey? You're seeing the end result now,
Yeah.
and you're happy because I'm successful, and you're happy I can make a life now, and I can feed myself and all that stuff. And I think that was just him being a dad.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the disrespect came from everybody else.
Sure.
More so.
I'm a big believer in God's plan.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in my own path and my own particular journey I'm on.
Yeah.
And to each their own, right? Having support is huge, especially at a young age, right? Even as an adult. I mean, I'm 44, bro. I mean, I hope.
I would not have guessed that. And you guys, I know you were joking outside that you're old, but I would have not guessed you're 44.
Yeah, 44.
44 isn't even old. I want to be doing what you're doing it.
I make sure I look good at a certain age, bro. It's all part of it, right? But the thing is, I own my age. Because you have to, right?
Yeah.
I've been DJing. I've been in the wedding industry since 2001. I was 21. So I seen it all. I seen the whole industry change. I seen it change from record to CDs to Serato. I seen it develop. I seen the guys come.
Yeah.
I seen the guys go. I seen the industry change to what it is now. That's why I can talk about it. If I didn't live through that, I wouldn't be able to talk about it now with you.
Right.
And the same thing with you. I mean, you lived through a lot of trauma.
Right.
Like what do you see yourself doing?
What do I see myself doing? I see myself doing both.
Okay.
I think that we are in such a great world and space right now or I have allowed myself to be in that world and space where I can say that I can plan for both. Where I can have my own practice and run that part-time, and I can also vacation, and I can make my own music, and I can still be in the wedding and entertainment industry and perform for others, and be able to do that. And that's what I want to do, and be able to create my own brand and my own sort of business that way, where I'm being able to create entertainment and be entertainment for people.
Do you have a plan for that, like your own branding?
It's in the works.
Okay.
So the tag musical Avish, which is like right now just like my usernames and stuff like that. But
that's a dope tag.
That tag was created by my mom as a Facebook page when Facebook was the thing.
Okay.
And I was like,
are you saying that Facebook is not a thing anymore?
I don't know.
I'm still on Facebook.
Okay.
And IG and TikTok.
Well, IG and TikTok, I use IG more. I think I use Facebook, but I think
different demographics.
Different demographic.
Yeah.
Literally each app is for a different demographic.
100%.
And it makes creating and putting out content so much harder because of that. But the tag musical Avish was like a Facebook page my mom created just to post stuff that I was doing as a kid, and newspaper articles and shows and videos and things like that, from the camcorder and uploading and stuff like that. And when I got to college, I didn't want anybody to see that.
Why?
I wanted I don't know what was going on in my head at that time. I was very self-conscious.
Where'd you go to
I was
school?
such like a Freehold Township High School.
Okay.
I was such a, I think because I was one of the like only brown kids in that high school of like 500 in my class.
Yeah.
There was 4 brown people and that's it. I was one of them.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to sing like Hindi songs for Multicultural Day.
Okay.
I was like the only multicultural thing there.
Okay.
But I remember going to
There's a lot of pressure on your back at that point.
It was in high school, but I loved it. In high school was when my parents, or when I would be going to do singing and I was be training in Kathak and doing Bollywood dancing and doing shows and stuff like that. But when I got to college, I was so shy because I was suddenly surrounded by a lot of Desis.
Yeah.
I went to Drexel. I somewhat equated to like Philadelphia's version of Rutgers.
Okay.
And so there were a lot of Desi people all of a sudden around me. And
how do you feel about that?
At that time in my life, I didn't have Desi friends.
Yeah.
I had grown up with only Caucasian friends because that was just a demographic at my high school and in middle school. And I showed up and I was like, oh my God, everybody here listens to brown music. There's a brown dance team, there's brown frats.
Yeah.
There was all this stuff, right? So I didn't know what to do, and I didn't allow myself and in those first couple of months to showcase all the stuff that I'd done.
Were you worried about all the attention that you're gonna get?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I just kind of wanted to, be cautious, walk a little bit just with
Because of all the haters?
no, not haters. I think I was just shy.
Okay.
There was no like,
Shy?
at that time, because it was suddenly like it felt like a different country.
Okay.
Genuinely, I was just like, oh my gosh, where am I? Like,
Okay.
what is happening?
Okay.
Even though all these people are listening to the same stuff, and
Probably your music.
they were all, well, I mean, but like it was just so bizarre. And now, another 10 years later, I don't know what I would do in the reverse situation.
Yeah.
I've only been in a Desi realm since, but it was yeah, I just didn't know what to do. And then somebody found that Facebook page.
Okay. Was it a friend of yours?
Yeah,
or-
it was a
okay.
friend of mine. It was a girl I liked at the time, and then she found this Facebook page and she told everybody.
What's
about
that
it.
girl's name?
No, we won't talk about it. She's still a friend. And she found this Facebook page. She told everybody about it, our friend group, and but then everybody loved it.
Yeah.
But I was so shy about it. But then the stage performances happened, and then that just became my stage name because everybody just started calling me that.
Musical Avish.
Yeah, everyone just started calling me Musical Avish. People would even drop Avish and just call me Musical, and like and just like would just like call me that, right? As like an adjective or a term of endearment or
It's
whatever.
like mystical.
Something. Yeah, like
Okay.
that. It was a term of endearment, I think. And it just stuck with everybody. And I think, and since then it has stuck. That's all people know me as now.
That's what's up.
And it just, again, that's another story, just how that whole thing came about.
So then a few months into it, one of your friends found that page. Then a few months after that, I'm sure you had to play that role.
I did. I played the role. I had a friend make a logo for me,
Mm-hmm.
a graphic logo for me, and it stuck. And I use it everywhere now, and I don't even want to change it because it just has such a meaning and story behind it.
Yeah. How did all that affect your college career though?
I kept
As an artist.
As an artist,
Yeah.
it enhanced it. I think because I at that time then when I kind of realized that okay, people are kind of down with this, really supportive of me singing. I was on the dance team at that time too, so I had a really strong social support,
Yeah.
strong network.
Yeah.
We were going to different all the dance competitions that happened everywhere at random colleges in Boston, Penn State, at San Francisco, Los Angeles.
Nice.
We were traveling like crazy every month for every 2 weeks for a competition. And then these competitions would also call me to be like, hey, we want you to sing as an exhibition act separately.
How did they know you were a singer?
I would post covers. And then
Okay.
it was that one show, the one stage performance that I got where I did the Sunra and Natu.
Okay.
And then from there, people just saw that video on YouTube and then started contacting me to do these shows
That's what's up.
separately as like an exhibition act.
If I ever get married, you're singing at my wedding.
100%, man.
Okay.
No doubt.
I don't know when. I don't know where. I know who.
Yes.
But I will give you a call.
Yes, I'll be there without doubt. I'll clear my schedule.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But that's fantastic, though. I mean, like, you started college. You didn't know what was happening because you see all these brown people all of a sudden. So from your first couple of months as a freshman
Mhm.
compared to your last couple of months as a senior, it was night and day.
Oh yeah,
100%, right?
100%. There were places where I would just like show up and I'd just be like eating either on campus or just like some random college or whatever, and people would be like, "Oh my god, like you're Avish," or like you're the singer or whatever, and I'd be like, "Yeah, that's me."
How'd you feel
And
about that? The first
that
couple of
that
times?
still happens.
It's
It happens all over where I go to Manhattan. People will be like, "Oh, you're the bar singer," and I'll be like, "Yes, that's me."
That's what's up.
And it's great. I don't feel. I'm so used to it.
Okay.
So I don't feel anything now. I think in the beginning I used to feel weird. I used to be like, "Oh, is this like my identity? Is this like,
Mhm.
like is this good? Is this bad? I don't know."
The first couple
but-
of times that happened to me, I was taken back. I didn't know how to handle it. Like, is this real? Is this a joke? This is a joke. Am I being punked over here?
Yeah.
Right. And then once it happens more often, then it's a sense of responsibility,
Yeah.
because they recognize you because of something positive.
Right.
Right.
And it fuels you, and it's so humbling. Like,
Yeah.
everything that I just described to you has been so humbling and just so like heartwarming, and just makes me feel so good about like what I'm doing, that like I feel like nothing happens without struggle,
Mm-hmm.
nothing happens without support, nothing happens without repercussions and good things that come from it too, and it leads you to the next step, and everything that I've done has always led me to a next step
Yeah.
that I had not planned for.
100%.
And none of this is anything that I would have planned for. I almost sometimes feel like I should just stop planning, because something's just gonna happen. All these concerts and shows
It's
that
God's
just happened.
plan, right?
I didn't plan for it. I just woke up one day and I got a text being like, "Hey, you want to come and open?" And I was like, "What? Is this real? Am I like just like you said? Am I being punked? Like, what's happening?"
Yeah.
Like no way. And
It's all part of God's plan, man. Your
so,
journey is your own journey, and
yeah.
from what I see, it's a great one.
It's so rewarding. And I just, now I have people who message me like, "How'd you get this? How'd you get that?" It becomes a little hard to kind of decipher, who's actually asking for advice,
Mm-hmm.
and who's asking to be competition.
Sure.
That took me a little bit of time to kind of siphon, because I think everybody's a good person.
Yeah.
I look at everybody, and I don't know if that's just because I'm a doctor, and so I have to see everybody as whole and
Yeah.
and patient, and I think that also clouds a lot of my judgment about
Have you
people's.
gotten taken advantage of?
Yes, there have been a lot of situations about
Okay.
that. A lot of people will, I think in the beginning, people will be like, "Oh, how'd you get this gig?" And I tell them, whatever work I've done or process I've done. And then next thing I know, they're suddenly doing the same gig.
Gotcha.
I'd be like, how? And actually there was one, this was actually very recent. I'm mid performing on stage. It was at the API convention launch dinner. And I even spoke about it on TikTok. I was so upset about it in the moment, because it was the third time that something like this had happened.
Okay.
Where I'm singing on stage. I see the tech guy on the left. He is, just controlling the mic volume ratio. Everything's good. People are dancing. I'm on stage singing. And I see I think another singer was hired that day. He was a little bit of like an older gentleman. So he had a different range of songs that he was singing earlier.
Sure.
But then like, I don't know, you can read on people's face when something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I could set, when I'm up on stage, I'm also very attentive and perceptive.
Yeah.
I think I kind of have to be, and it's sort of innate now, because I want to feed off of people's energies and stuff like
Your
that.
energy
So,
is
and
like heightened at that point.
right, exactly. So you want to know, what are people expecting? What are
Yeah.
people vibing to, right? So, and I'm looking down, I'm like watching people's conversations, like seeing what, like trying, like lip reading. I've gotten so good at that. And I see this guy, and he is not happy, and I see him from the corner of my eye. He goes upstage, goes to the back room to the tech. I see him at the tech, and he suddenly changed everything. And I was like, why is he changing things? Like, I don't know who this
While
guy
you're
is.
singing?
While I'm singing, mid singing.
Okay.
And I suddenly hear that I can't hear myself sing anymore. Like, I just
Oh.
hear music. And luckily there was like a little break, like musical interlude between
Yeah.
a couple of songs. So I quickly ran, and I was like, what just happened to the tech guy? He's like, "Oh, that guy said you wanted to change things." I was like, "No, I didn't. Like, I don't know who this guy is. He just
You never seen him before.
never seen him before, never interacted with him. I just knew he was another singer, just came up and about.
So he sabotaged your set.
100% just came up, changed mic ratio, music ratio, like volume, like everything, to the point where people couldn't even hear me. My parents were the audience. They were like, "Why can't we hear you anymore?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I don't know. I've just been up here singing."
That sucks, bro.
And this is like this was in March, April of just this year. This was like the third or fourth time this situation's happened.
With all different singers, though.
Mm-hmm. All different singers. It's even
Wow.
happened. It's even happened in like basement parties where somebody hires somebody, just to like play music at like just like it's a Christmas party or something, and then like I'm invited as not as a singer, but just like that's my family party or family friend party, and there's like, oh, sing a song. That always happens.
Okay.
And so I took the mic, and I'm singing a song. It's like a 3-song medley. I sang
Sure.
the first song, people loved it. The second song, suddenly can't hear anything. Like just suddenly can't hear me singing at all. And my dad actually was watching the guy and saw that the other singer had gone and changed everything all of a sudden. And I'm like, it's a Christmas party. This is my family and my family friends.
Wow.
Like, what? Like, yeah.
Yo,
anyways,
these guys got no scruples whatsoever
No,
to fuck around with you like that.
So
That's unbelievable, man.
it's crazy. It's so crazy. And I mean,
They're
like,
scared of you. They're scared of your talent.
for what? It's a Christmas party.
They're scared of your talent in so many ways. They see you as a threat on their level. You affecting their money at that point, because if you're gonna go down that road and play around with your engineering at that point, that's because you're affecting their money, or you're gonna be affecting their money,
Right.
which is the thing is, it's good competition. I mean, think of it as healthy competition. Step up your own game. You don't got to sabotage. I mean, let the singer sing, do his job. He's there for a reason.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does, right? Why are you being Indian about it?
Yeah. Very desi about it.
You gotta say it. You gotta
just-
say it, but to say it. Why you gotta be Indian about it, bro? Come on.
Yeah. Like, this is nothing to be competing about. I wasn't even, like, quote unquote working that
Yeah,
night.
but brown people are like that,
Yeah,
man. They
I
don't
know.
support each other. I mean, I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Brown versus brown support. I mean, if you were on the same boat as the Jewish community, and I talk about this all the time because it's important to talk about and have a voice behind it. But the Jewish community is so far ahead of the game because they support each other. There's this saying, when one person has money, all 4 of them have money because that money stays within themselves.
Right.
The brown community, not so much.
No.
Everyone is in it
I
for
don't know
themselves.
what it is. I don't know where that mentality comes from, and it sucks. And I know that there's a new generation.
Thank God for that new generation.
Right, yeah, that are trying to change that.
Yeah.
There's a
Because
lot
people
of
talk about it now. That's why I'm a big advocate about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's taboo to talk about, but talking about something that's uncomfortable, that's gonna increase growth,
Right.
right?
But I think there's still a difference. I think people are talking about it. There is conversations about community and conversations about collaboration and that kind of support, but I don't think it increases opportunity.
Okay.
Even though people try to build community and collaboration, I think people use it to network, but I don't think it allows for growth and opportunity for everybody.
I think you have to create your own opportunity at that point.
Right, exactly. So it's tough to sort of trust that then.
Yeah.
Because is it really community or is it just a bunch of people in a room?
Yeah.
And that's sort of the fine line that I'm seeing a lot right now at events where I go to, especially like a lot of the New York events.
In the industry, when I was in it, or I'm still in it, or like in the beginning of it, there's a lot of times when a brown vendor would prefer to work with a non-South Asian vendor, just because they feel like there's more credibility there, or they feel like they'll go further, but they don't. They never do, because honestly, like in the desi industry, you have to. If you're not brown, I don't think you're gonna go too far. I seen a lot of American companies come in, and they left.
Yeah.
Because the communication is not there. The expectations are not there. Because as an Indian vendor, as an Indian client, right? Even if as an Indian client, they're paying us, right? But they have so much more expectations at this point, right? And we're willing to bend over backwards.
Yeah.
Right? Non-South Asian vendors, they're not willing to bend over backwards. Like, well, you paid me for a job, I fulfilled the job, and that's it. It's black and white. There's no gray areas. With brown folks, there's nothing but gray areas.
Yeah, I know. But I will say that with a lot of the families and the couples and that have hired me as a vendor to either sing at their sangeet or mehndi or whatever, I have been so understanding and appreciative of my work and what I have brought to their event. And it has allowed me to do more, because I know that they're so grateful for that they're especially, flying me out, or especially like, allowing me to be a part of their special
Yeah,
celebration for
100%.
those a couple of hours, as separate from the DJ or the other music
Well, you're a luxury
entertainers.
item.
Huh?
You're a luxury item.
Yeah. Oh, I never thought about it that
You're
way.
a
But
luxury
yeah,
item.
I guess
Like you have to
basically.
understand that as a photographer, you gotta have a photographer.
Yeah.
You gotta have decor. You gotta have food.
Right.
You gotta have a DJ.
Yeah.
You gotta have your Mendy done, right? Do I want a professional singer there to
Yeah.
entertain my clients? It's a luxury. You're a luxury item, and I hope you're positioning yourself that way. Okay, because the sky's the limit at that point. Because you look at a Rolls Royce, you won't see them advertising at all,
Right.
or a Lamborghini. You won't see them advertising,
Yeah.
but you'll see a Camry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll see a Honda commercial every 10 seconds.
Hmm.
Because that's not a luxury item. You, my friend, are a luxury item. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. That's a. I'm thinking.
Let it sink in. Let it sink in.
Yeah, I'm letting it sink in because I've never phrased it that way.
You never seen yourself as the luxury item?
I mean, I've never just used that term,
Okay.
and I think that term adds a lot of weight. All
It does.
of a sudden,
There's a lot of value to that.
a lot of value to that.
Yeah.
And I've always seen the value especially when someone's like, yeah, we'll fly out, yeah, we'll give you whatever, we'll let you stay for the night or whatever, things like that. But I've never seen it as just that tag, that luxury tag.
Now you just increase your value. So add another zero
Yeah.
at the end of that price tag.
Yeah, right.
You'll be happy. It's like having a celebrity MC on site.
Mhm.
Like your DJ MC company is going to be able to take care of everything from A to Z. But then when you hire a celebrity MC, I myself come off as that, right? Because they'll hire me in addition to the regular entertainment company.
Right.
And I would come on and I would do my show, perform, and that comes with a price tag. You know what I'm saying? And
No, of
that's you.
course.
You come with a price tag.
Of course. And, I think everybody in the beginning always has their fair share of doing things without a price tag.
Yeah.
Because also it's very common.
How many free parties have you done?
Very common in our desi, this is where I'll say people get a little desi.
Yeah.
And even today, people, after all the work that I've done, still say, oh, we just want you to come and sing without anything. And, in this day and age, after, think about it, after everything I just explained to you and more, someone's still saying, come and sing for our part, to our event for free.
That's not the right client for you.
Yeah, no. And I am now in such a position now.
Yeah.
Where I feel okay saying no, because at the end of the day, it's like you said, it's my resource, it's my energy, it's my talent, it's my efforts. If somebody's inviting me to come and sing for 1 or 2 hours in their event, there's a lot for that 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm singing nonstop, which is something I've sort of coined and specialized in. I don't like taking breaks. I have trained my voice and stamina to sing to max 3 to 4 hours straight.
And your breathing as well. That's all
and my
part
breathing
of it.
is fine. I hit all the notes. I don't falter, in that, if I have to take a 1 song pause, I'll do that, but that's it. I'm walking around, I'm dancing with people, I make it that those 2 hours are extremely energetic at that party, whatever party it is. And then to curate those songs, it's not like I'm having a DJ in the back, live mix. I think I've done that once or twice, but it's a lot to plan for me ahead of time with my other schedules. So I try to limit that as much as I can. I try to just curate my tracks and music accordingly and build it to what I know the audience will be like, and hype them up to that. And that curation takes time too, that knowing that all that knowledge of those songs, and I don't read, I have it all memorized.
Nice.
I even when I do the 3-4 hour sets at bar, I don't look at lyrics.
Is that common? No,
No,
right?
no.
I've seen a lot of
Singers
singers with
who look at their phone, look at their
iPads. Yeah.
iPad, have a laptop on side. I don't like doing that. I think it deters from a performance. I think it looks bad.
Okay.
Also, I think because this is all I listen to,
Yeah.
and so this is just me singing in my car, so I already know the lyrics, so it's not like that much different, where I have to have that on the side with me. And
Yeah.
I've seen such great singers, look at the lyrics and then they're just hyper fixated at their iPad. They're not looking up at anybody. They're not talking to anybody. They're not like engaging with anybody.
Yeah.
Which
Facial reactions and energy.
They have no performance value, at that point.
Okay.
And I think that's what I bring. And that's
what's up.
And that's
nice.
that's what makes it all so special, and
DJs
for
are
me
like that
and
too.
for them. And it just heightens the whole experience, and I love doing that.
Yeah.
I love seeing everybody so happy. When they're happy, I know I'm happy, and I do it from the goodness of my heart because I love it so much and I'm so passionate about this that I want to do such a good job, and I want to make sure everything is teed up to the way I imagine it and like it to be. And
as a perfectionist,
as a perfectionist, and as a professional, and as someone who's so passionate about the whole thing, I want it to be such a good time for everybody. I literally even write it in my contract. I'm like, my goal is for everyone to have a great time.
Nice.
Like that's there. Like that's the last bullet line.
That's
like,
your mission statement.
That's
right?
the mission. Like I want, that's what you're signing for. You're signing for a great time. People respect that, and my clients understand that. They come and they love that, and I take pictures with all my clients. I'm like, I want to remember this. I want to know that I was a part of your wedding. It's a wedding.
It's the best day.
People look back at this
it's
year
the
after year
best
after
day,
year
man.
after year.
It's the very best day. They've been planning it for weeks, months, even years.
Yeah.
Right. It's bigger budgets, major budgets. It's life altering.
It
right?
is.
And they want you to be part of it.
Right.
I mean, being just considered, it's an honor just to be considered, right? But to actually like close that contract and be there, it
means something.
It means something. You know what I'm saying?
It means something. And you can't go back on it afterwards.
Yeah.
There have been times where, and this is just because of scheduling issues, where someone will sign me for a date like 7 months ahead.
You should perform in the Scrubs one day.
Oh my gosh. No.
That would have been so
You know what's so funny? There was one gig that just happened, and usually everyone says Avish or musical Avish, whatever. And somebody introduced me in this audience at this wedding, like please welcome Dr. Jain. And I was like, whoa. I have never had someone call me like doctor, like right as I'm about to sing.
Yeah.
So that was a weird sort of like, because I think
you gotta get in the mindset.
Right? And then somebody called me Dr. Jane on the mic, and I was like, whoa, what do I do with this now? This feels
so
weird.
What did you do?
I just laughed.
Okay.
I laughed, and I just went up and I said, hey, I'm Avish. please don't call me Dr.
I am
Jane
Dr. Jane, but today I'm going to be the singing doctor.
Please don't call me that here. I'm off duty.
Have you ever been in a situation where you had to play the doctoral role at a private event because something happened?
At Bar.
No, really.
I think somebody fell, got hurt.
Okay.
And I stopped mid-set, went to go take care of them, make sure that like nothing had broke. There was like blood or something had happened. I don't remember the exact incident, but I remember getting off stage and
this is a natural feeling that you just have to do.
It's just so natural.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, are you okay? And
relax. I'm a doctor.
People at Bar don't know that.
They don't know you're a doctor?
No. And
well, they know now.
They'll know after if they follow me and
Okay.
they see my IG tag,
Okay.
which is just Dr. Musical Avish. There was even like a couple people who would look at it and be like, "Are you really a doctor?" I'm like, "Yes." Like I didn't just write that for no reason. I remember this one uncle sitting right in front of me while I'm singing, and he's like literally guffawing, like laughing, just like, "Oh, like doctor," and I'm like, "No, uncle." I literally stopped singing because I saw him sing. I was like, "Uncle, I'm actually a doctor. Like, you need to break that out of your head that I can be two people at once."
Yeah.
And I see that all the time.
Okay.
I think
Usually older people, I'm assuming.
no, a lot of younger people too. A lot
Really?
of people my age too.
Okay.
Are sort of just like, why are you here? Like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
I think the bigger question I always get is, how are you here? Like, with what time off?
You know what I think it is also? When you're an entertainer,
Yeah.
there's a certain stigma behind it.
Yes.
When you're a doctor, there's a certain stigma behind it.
Mm-hmm.
One is respected more than the other.
100%.
Now, we can't even tell you which one it is, right? Because I don't want to go down that road, but I'm sure you get it, right?
Can I tell you a very funny story about this? I was invited to sing at like Netflix's Indian Matchmaking season 3 launch or something like that. It was back in February. So Seema Auntie was there and whatever.
How was Seema Auntie?
I'll get there. So she just saw me as the singer and the entertainer because I was working the laptop and the mixer and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, she'd be like, "No, don't sing right now." Be like, "Okay, fine, I'll sing whenever you wanted me to start singing." And then I start singing, and then you know, I'm telling her, "Oh, come up on stage." Not listening to me, not engaging with me at all, talking to everybody else.
You're just a singer.
I'm just a singer. And then at the end, I'm like, event's done. I've finished my 2-3 hours. And I'm like, oh, like, can we take a picture? Didn't even want to take a picture. Didn't want to associate with me. Then the owner of the event hall, you know, was sitting with her at dinner, and she, you know, she knew me, and she was just like, oh, hey, come like sit with us and eat dinner. And then she told Seema Auntie that, oh, he's not just a singer, like he's a full-time doctor. Oh my God, the way her aura and perception, and suddenly she's talking to me, she's engaging in conversation with me, she's looking out, like the facial expression, bro, changed dramatically, because now I'm not just the entertainer or just a singer that, you know, can just like, you can just disrespect, basically, which sucks.
Why do you think that is, though, man? That shit happens too many times. You know, as a DJ, as an event planner, as a host, as a singer, as a dole player, as a saxophone player, whatever whatever talent you have, you're just looked at a certain way.
You're looked at a certain way, and I think every time I go to these events, that's why I make it a point not to tell them I'm a doctor, because I like to analyze and see how people truly are. Yeah. Are they respectful of what I'm doing right now, or are they just respecting my other title that has nothing to do with this? Yeah. You know, I even did an event for a doctor's party. Okay, it was an oppie event, but it was like on a boat. Okay. And I was just there as a singer. I wasn't there as a doctor. It was all these older doctors doing some boat party. It's like 300 of them. Yeah. And I'm singing, I'm getting everybody hype and whatever. And then the DJ took it upon himself to say, oh, he's also a resident. Oh my gosh, people looked at me suddenly so differently. Yeah. People were actually coming up to me like, oh, where do you work? What do you do? Oh my God, you sing so well. Otherwise, nothing. I was just like noise in the back.
We were the hired help.
I was just help. Yeah, that's it. I was just a kid floating around.
It's common. It happens way too often.
Way too often.
There were times I'm doing a wedding, and like when I'm doing a wedding, right? I'm gonna be dressed up a certain way, or like what I'm like. I'm gonna be in my shorts and my polo, and I'm working. I'm looked at a certain way. But as soon as I put on my suit, right? As soon as I jump on the mic, everything changes. Yeah. It becomes more of an authority figure, right? During the reception, before the doors even open, you're looked at a certain way. But at the end of the night, those same people that were looking at you a certain way are hugging you and kissing you at the end of the night. Let me take a selfie, blah, blah, blah. It just changes a little bit, right? Because they see that talent. They see what you're offering, the values over there, right? Now with you, when they see that you're a doctor, that's a lot of value. You know what I'm saying? Like coming in from as a singer to now as a singing doctor. Yeah. I mean, you could probably add 2 more zeros to that.
You know what's the best part I've heard? Best sentence I've heard from somebody that you're a doctor. Like, why do we have to pay you?
Shut up.
Deadass.
You should be like, you should pay me more.
they're like you don't need this money. You have money otherwise. First of all, if anybody really knows what a resident salary is, you need money.
You guys need a lot more money.
But I was just like, what am I supposed to do with this information? Like,
what do we do with this information?
Like, okay, so great. I'm not gonna get paid. Solid.
Well, I'm not gonna get a tip from you guys.
Yeah, I'm not coming back here. That's for sure.
No, I get it. That's crazy though, man. Like the value changes, right? I'm sure you see it all the time.
It is, and it sucks that there's so much disrespect because we work hard.
Yeah.
We work harder.
100%.
I mean, fine, medicine you people face too, but this is a little different because there's a different level of expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And people, for whatever reason, think that they own you because you're providing them a service.
Because they're paying you.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't realize the work behind it, all the years of training behind it,
100%.
The brain power, the energy, the talent, the ability, the capabilities, everything, the handiwork, the physical work, all that behind the scenes to make your event running and smoothly.
100%.
And to have that be so disrespected and be so commonly disrespected sucks. I can keep sharing random stories.
That's a whole new episode.
That's
a whole new episode.
Yeah.
We're gonna panel we're gonna call it the something. I'm gonna come up with something, but it's gonna be stories of being disrespected as an entertainer and what their expectations are and all these things because it's unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, it really isn't fair. I mean, if you got to think about it, all the work and time you put into your craft, right? I get asked all the time, Jay, can you get me a dole player? I'm like, sure, no problem. It's going to be X amount. And, oh, why? They're just playing the dole. I'm like, well, I don't know how to play a dole. Do you?
Yeah.
And the answer is always no. Well, that's why you're paying them
right.
an X amount. So forth and so on. But you're just talking on the mic. Well, that's great. Can you talk on the mic for 300 people and entertain them? No. That's what you're paying. Can you sing? No. I always ask the same question to that client. Can you do it? If you could do it, then why are you even on the phone with me?
Right. No, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And it shuts them up all the time. I just like to educate my clients, educate them on why they're paying me, why they're paying you, why they're going out of their way.
Why is there a need?
There you go. Why is there a need for this?
It's not a want. It's a need. In these events, just like you said, there are basic things and services and people that you need to have.
Absolutely.
And why are you calling for one? Because you need them.
There you go.
Unless you have someone in your family who is one and can do it, you have to reach out and get a vendor and get somebody. And like, it just, people don't realize that.
Well, with that said, bro, it's our time.
Oh,
it goes by that fast.
Wow. That was fast.
It goes by that fast.
Well, we could sit here and keep talking.
We can. That's going to be for the second episode, the third, because I want to have you back on my show.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a lot more stories.
Yeah.
The book that you're going to write pretty soon, or you're in the works, the Ghostwriter. I'm sure after this episode is aired, the Ghostwriter will come out to you.
Yeah.
And ask to be part of your journey.
I hope so. Here's hoping.
Before I sign off, do you want to look into the camera and go into your tags?
Yes. What's up, everybody? I hope you guys enjoyed this special podcast. My name is Avish. You can follow me and all my music and all my journey at dr.musicalavish on Instagram. On YouTube, you can find me, Avish Jain, and then Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, you name it, just search my name. And I hope you guys enjoy a lot of the music and the music videos and all that process.
All that beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, bro. I really appreciate the time. So I know it takes a lot of time to be up here, and talking and sharing and just being vulnerable and just talking about your journey.
Yeah.
Right? I do appreciate it. And I'm going to see you here again soon.
Thank you so much. This was a really special conversation.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Guys, that was our time. Thank you for joining us on another episode on the Jay Rana Show. If you haven't already, subscribe, follow, comment. And as always, I'll see you on my dance floor. Peace.